Thank you guys for joining me here on the last segment of today's show. The last segment of the Chip Shot Football Podcast has to do with the fact that we had a moment happen over the weekend. Not anything related to games or anything related to the outcomes of games or reviewing anything like that. But the moment came in the game that we just talked about between the Texans and the Indianapolis Colts that, Houston ended up winning and everything, right? We just talked about it. But people are really taking notice and really taking some serious feelings to what happened in the third quarter when Indianapolis faced a third and goal, and their starting quarterback Anthony Richardson, after he ran essentially back to the line of scrimmage, he ran around for a while. He kind of bought himself some time, but ultimately ended up going back to where he started. He kind of went to a knee. He signaled over to his own sideline and kind of, gave his helmet like one of these signaling. I'm assuming I haven't played football, but from what everyone's saying, it's a signal to kind of let them know that he needs to come out of the game, essentially, right? He needs to take a play. Usually, signifying that there's an injury or he has something that's not feeling right to be taken out of the game, right? To tap his helmet like that. But live, looking at it live, it would appear that maybe he was hurt or something like that. Maybe he felt something in his hamstring or something like that. You don't know. But instead, after the game, because it was such a big moment in the game, third and goal for the starting quarterback not to be out there, they had to ask Anthony Richardson about it, right? Obviously, logically, and he gave the honest answer, right? He gave the honest answer, and he said for why he came out at that point, what was wrong. He said, tired, ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there that I did, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So I just told the coach I need a break right there. As honest as anybody could have been, Anthony Richardson said he came out of the game because he was tired. Nothing I've ever really seen before. Nothing that I'm sure any NFL player or any athlete would ever admit to, right? To just say that they came out of the game because they needed one, right? I'm sure maybe it's happened for receivers, linebackers, always, right? Pass rushing, giving their 100%. They need a break here or there. But for the quarterback to say that he's tired and say that he needs a break on a third and goal where you're playing in such a big game means a lot for the division, means a lot, I'm sure, for everybody just being motivated to beat the Texans. For your leader, your starting quarterback, right, to not be out there, it looks bad, basically, is what we're getting at, right? It looks bad, and it just looks careless, like almost like Anthony Richardson is saying, like this moment, what he's doing, maybe his importance or how he views it isn't as important, right? It feels like he's almost like too. I don't want to say like he's too good for this moment or he's too good for the Colts to just be like, I need a break, but it had a hint of like arrogance a little bit, or just the level of being so, I guess, ignorant or naive, I guess, for a lack of a better term, to on a third and goal just be like coach, like I need one. And like it's so peculiar because I've never really seen a quarterback ever do it. And afterwards, head coach Shane Steichen was asked about it yesterday, and he said, we had a conversation about it this morning in the quarterback room, which I'll keep private, but obviously in those situations, he knows on those types of deals, you can't take yourself out, and it's a learned experience for him, and he's got to grow from it. So, he said that, pretty typical for coach talk, right? But also, he was asked if Anthony Richardson is his starting quarterback, and he said, right now, yesterday morning, today he is. Yes, that's what he said. Then someone else, went off of that point and asked him, would Anthony Richardson start against Minnesota on Sunday Night Football? And he said, Shane Steichen, he said, we're evaluating. Enough said there, right? Especially with what we heard today, right? Joe Flacco going to be the starting quarterback now for the Colts. Shane Steichen wasn't bluffing, and now we get into a situation with this moment, and also with Anthony Richardson, because I think also it also has to do with his level of play, because of course it hasn't been too convincing so far in year two, especially with how Joe Flacco has looked. Joe Flacco's like a death sentence for young quarterbacks or for anybody standing in front of him. It always ends up just having Joe Flacco start. So if Joe Flacco doesn't stay with the Colts and he goes somewhere else, that starting quarterback's gotta either get out of there or play flawless enough to not have Joe Flacco be an option, because he is gonna play. If there's any hint of, could we get better, Joe Flacco's gonna play, and he's done it with the Colts, the Colts this year, but the Browns last year. It always feels like he can't go away. He can't stop starting. But in all seriousness, I think there's a little bit of two aspects here with this situation with Anthony Richardson, and now knowing that he did get benched. Is this situation something to, really take a lot of stock in? I would say yes, because of the fact that we're going to get very, macro here and say that Anthony Richardson is one of 32 starting quarterbacks, right, in the NFL. For you to not realize how important that is, for you not to realize how significant the quarterback position is in that moment, and being in a close game against a division rival, to just be unaware of, how good you essentially have it, right, to be in this position, for you not to be there in a crucial moment for your team. It looks bad to everybody else on the outside, right? But I can't imagine what the tensions are, what the feelings are in that locker room. And you kind of get a hint of it when the center, Ryan Kelly, I saw that he said afterwards that what Anthony Richardson did, that's not the standard. And Ryan Kelly, as much of a football guy as anybody, right? You'll never catch him taking a play off, right? As an offensive lineman. So for a quarterback to take a play off, the presumed leader, the face, what this offense really is with his running ability, I can't imagine what his teammates are thinking, what kind of message that it sends out to his teammates, to the coaches, to the fan base also. And that's where I think this decision to move on, well, not move on, just to go to Joe Flacco here, to start now, and kind of how it impacts this moment here by Anthony Richardson, is that I'd say that it factors into this in a combination where you have Anthony Richardson here already in his second year, and you're asking for the fan base to be patient with the young guy. He's the future. He's going to get it. He needs these experiences, right? But also, knowing how fans are, being so impatient, wanting results, you're seeing him out there, go 2 for 15, not have the highest completion percentage. He's at 44%. So far this year. He's averaging 159 yards per game passing, which is 34th in the NFL. And again, there's 32 starting quarterbacks. So for him to be 34th is backup level, honestly, right now. And he's tied for third with 7 interceptions, and he only has 4 touchdowns throwing the ball. So you understand as a fan, right? And I think they're the ones that I think this matters to the most, rightly so. Because you're looking at this quarterback where you want to give him time, right? You hear that you need to be patient with him. He's going to play better. He's not looking great right now, but he's the future. He's the guy going forward. So you're already kind of teetering on the balance of, get this guy out of here because he's not playing well, or buying time, buying into him. He's going to be the future, right? And then when you see a moment like this, where you see him kind of send a bad message, send a bad look to the fan bases, the teammates, and everything like that, and you see him just say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm just gonna take a break, guys. Like third and goal, it's all right for me to step away, right? You relate it to other jobs, right? Where, not directly to other jobs, but just in the sense that you have such a big moment, a critical point in your profession, right? Would the boss or the leader of that organization, or yourself in a position in your job, when you know you have a critical deadline or a critical event or a critical day for your business or your job that you work at, would you go up to your boss, or would you go up to everybody that is putting in a lot of work to make this event or day, whatever the case may be, the best it could be? Could you say, from a leadership standpoint, be like, you know what, I'm going to take a break here. I'm not going to be able to make it for this important date. I'm feeling a little bit tired, right? You wouldn't say that. And if you did, and on top of that, you're not performing well at your job, you look at the fans now and you're thinking, we're the ones being told to be patient with this guy. We're going to be patient with him. We're going to be all right with him throwing more interceptions than touchdowns, not being particularly accurate, not really throwing for a lot of yards each game. We're going to swallow that pill and just watch the growing pains, right? And then you see the quarterback himself be like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm going to take a break. And as a fan, you're thinking like you can't be serious, right? Like, is this a joke? I'm being told that I need to be patient with this starting quarterback that isn't going to put the emphasis or the importance on this one play on third down against the Texans. It's almost like a spit in the face to everyone that's been harping, everyone that has been told that we need patience with this guy, and they're going to be like, all right. But then the quarterback goes out and you see something like this. It's almost like the last straw. And a lot of fans, I'm sure we've seen people talk about it in the media. Colts fans are feeling pretty upset by that. Did it cost them the game? No, they had other chances to win. But I think the message overall on what that says about the quarterback, you don't want to send that kind of message about the organization, right, to the players, that it's all right to just tap yourself out when you're feeling a little bit tired. It's a culture thing, and for your leader to kind of do that is not a good look. And I think that, in combination with what Anthony Richardson has shown on the field, has gone into this decision of him now being benched ultimately. And we're going to talk about him being benched a little bit more tomorrow, but for right now, we had to address that topic because it did gain a lot of attention over the last day or so. But, that was the last segment. That'll do it for us today on the Chip Shot Football Podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me as always. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the show, as well as following the network on all forms of social media. And if you want to see more of the Chip Shot Football Podcast, go check out both YouTube channels, the Podcast Network channel and the Sports Network channel, to see a lot more coverage around the NFL in a variety of different ways. And also, if you want to see more of the live shows specifically, they're on each and every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on both of the YouTube channels. So make sure to go check that out. Join me again tomorrow at 6:30 as always to talk more NFL. We're going to talk about the Anthony Richardson thing and Stephon Diggs also being out with ACL. It's going to be a full day tomorrow, so make sure to join me on tomorrow's show. I've been your host, Manny Maradiege, saying goodbye for now, and I'll see you guys all back here again tomorrow.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to